Hey there, welcome to Speed Skating Deconstructed. What makes a skater great? Dave Silk and Fritz July at the line in 1985 in Hamar, Norway. Very cold. I was there skating this race way behind these guys. But it was about maybe 10 degrees, 5 degrees, one of those frigid days, sun going down in Hamar. Ice is getting harder, and these guys are out there and their skin's ready to go. This is the final race in the championship. Dave Silk goes on to get second in this distance behind Gerhard Karlstad. Fritz gets fourth in the entire event on Samolog. Dave gets sixth, and all the legends were there at the time. Hein Vergeer won the race, Oleg Bojev, Hilbert van der Doim, one of his last great performances, and of course Michael Hotchief and Gerhard Karlstad, who won this race. But Dave Silk, this American, was only 20 at the time, and coming up through the ranks, first he just jumped, huge jumps in the United States over a couple years as a junior, and then he comes onto the world scene as a senior. This is his first Worlds, and he does tremendously well. He'd only go on for more glory from here. He did well in the Olympics, not as well as he wanted to, but after that Olympics, he went on to 1988 Worlds in Medeo in Alma-Ata against the very best, and he was leading Samolog after 3 races, or right at the top. He had won the 5,000. He wiped out in the 10,000, similar to Sverre Lund Petersen, who went on to not win that race, and Patrick Roast won. Dave Silk fell in the 10,000, and because of that, he got third in that World Championships, and I believe he would have won, and most people do as well. So he was really a good distance skater for about 5 years. And what I want to show you is the consistency of his technique in this race, consistency of his lap times, and just how brilliant this technique is. So let's just watch Dave go down the straightaway in slow motion. And we'll see all those things are in place. Good timing, good rest, moving with that lead skate, keeping the pressure underneath his body. Nothing extra, nothing fancy. Dave's about 5'11", but very short legs, long upper body. In fact, we'd sit down at dinner and Dave would be taller than me, and I'm 6'4½". So that just shows you short legs, long upper body, and really sits position. We called him the wedge because he was so aerodynamic out there. But let's just take a stroke sequence here. So off that right, notice where he is off that right. He's already there. Very, very technically optimized so early in his pushes. And he's done, and he's so on that other one. There's no delay, but he gets rest. It's the quickest transfer I've ever seen of weight transfer possibly in a distance skater. It's just optimal. Fritz doing his best on the outside too, but I want to show you Dave's turn technique. Let's look at this corner here. And he does a couple other unique things here in the turn. So somewhat unique technically. You know it's Dave when he skates. And look at this lean. Look where his head is, inside the snow lane. So he's really leaving this right to get on that. Look at the angle to the left. So early, early, early is the motto for Dave Silk. And timing and pressure. So it all comes together. And notice how relaxed. Remember, Dave demonstrates this principle so well. Remember, what you do with the recovery leg should be a function of what you do on your pushing leg. Don't think about the recovery leg. It'll get where it needs to go. Simply press down, have one skate on the ice, drive that skate against the skate you're pushing on, and it'll go forward, and he's done. Very clean timing. So excellent turns and excellent straightaways. Just an excellent technician out here. And just so relaxed. Look at that nifty technique he has. Now what I want to show you is later in the race. How does his technique change? And what we're going to find out, it doesn't. In fact, his laps get a little faster and his technique's exactly the same. You can see the beauty of this, and this tells you that he was well coached. Mike Crow coached Dave since he was a little kid in Butte, Montana, and he knew his athlete. He was well tapered for this event, well trained, and he knew what schedule to put him on. A 10,000 is a schedule-based race, and Dave is just skating brilliantly here. Almost 13 minutes into this race, he looks better than he did early on in the race, and that says just confidence and great training. So there it is. Look at him on his last straightaway. And you'll see what I mean. There's absolutely no change in this skater's technique, and that just says so much. all the way home. Brilliant. That's the mark of a perfectly paced and perfectly executed race. Dave Silk, 1985, and just a brilliant oncoming skater, and went on to some great things. Retired after 88, in my opinion, too soon for a skater of his talent and ability. But we all have choices to make. He's a great doctor now out in Montana, got a family, his son skates, so all's well that ends well. We'll see you next time on Speed Skating Deconstructed, What Makes a Skater Great. Bye-bye.